This week on the Push Pullers podcast, we talk about how to lose weight well, and we talk about how to train obese clients actually in person and what they find difficult. And lastly, about CPD and what sets you apart being maybe the top 10% coaches in the country.
Hey, 3, 2, 1. 2020 is fantastic, mate.
Hey guys, welcome to the Push Pull Legs podcast with myself, Dan Meek.
And me, Tom. What's going on?
Yeah, fantastic year, innit? Just an explosion in Beirut, just killing hundreds of people, whatever it was. Brilliant. That's all we need.
Fantastic. All we need. Yeah, bonkers. Have you seen all the videos?
I saw the video.
All the videos, all the stuff on, like the mushroom thing.
Smoke bomb thing,
Yeah. Have you seen, I've seen some of the news things of, people obviously on their phones and, the walls just going straight in. Worst thing of it was obviously during COVID, awful, but around that area there was 3 hospitals that basically got obliterated. And obviously they need the hospitals to do stuff. So, there was just on the news now, there was a lad who, his wife was literally in labour. So he was filming his baby and 4 nurses and stuff like that. And then it just went, and then they all survived, luckily. But her, there was a window and the wall just went and pushed them all to the side, to the end of the wall, smashing the windows. And he was all on his phone. They showed it on the TV. And there was another one where they were conducting a Zoom interview as well. And on the BBC, they were we're going to shut to the BBC reporter. And then the Zoom interview, and then you just heard, and the computer being thrown to the side, and yeah,
crazy.
It's fairly bonkers, but yeah, really sad. And now everybody knows what ammonium hydrate is or whatever it is.
I didn't read that much into it.
Yeah, because that's what caused the red, and how it was definitely was not a nuclear blast or anything. Yeah, so somebody wasn't playing ball. Whoever stored that, not doing it correctly.
Yeah, fucking hell.
Crazy. But yeah, we got some local lockdowns. We also didn't mention last week that because the gym's open, that was our first non-bunker cast, really.
Non-bunker cast, yeah.
Yeah. So I'm not too sure what we reached. It was it 20, 25-ish?
It was too many, I know that.
Where is it? I don't know. I don't want to scroll through this. We've done too many episodes. Yeah. But yeah. How's it been? Do you feel unbunkered? Does it feel like COVID's over?
Yeah, it feels a little bit better now, I think. You can do a bit more stuff, which has been nice. And it has actually been nice going to the gym. But yeah, I think in a few weeks' time, I'm probably going to get someone to program for me or something, just because I can't be bothered. I need to just have someone say to me, do this, do that. It's just too much. I'm kind of getting back into the swing of things, in terms of after the deload and just moving again. But I think I just need someone to do it for me. I'm just too busy I just don't have the headspace. By the time I've got around to getting there, I'm just oh, fuck's sake, what should I do?
I'm the same, because I'm super busy with filming and writing and stuff at the moment, and it's just been what are you going to do? So I've just literally put myself on a month phase 1 of a Mike Boyle program, his basic adult program for people going into his gym who can vaguely move, and then I'm just doing that. At least I've got a plan in front of me that I'm just going to fill out. So yeah. I'm going to do that, and then somebody saw me training, you did a bit basic stuff, and I was I haven't really lifted any tin for a long time. I was this is probably what I need to do as well. So a little bit of functionality, being able to
I was doing the same stuff, real basic shit, nothing fancy, just getting moving again. But it's I've got a bit of cricket going on. Hopefully basketball starts up again pretty soon. You can start with drills and stuff anyway, I think. So that's kind of going to be all good, and then yeah, I just need a holiday. I think everyone probably needs a fucking holiday, don't they? To be fair, obviously it's the risk of taking one, but then also for us, pick up our dog on Monday, so of course we can't really go anywhere for about 4 or 5 weeks.
Frankie Jr., Frankie 2, what's its name?
Molly, we're going to call her.
Oh, of course. I wonder where you got that name. Who has a dog called Molly?
Well, actually, mate, Isabel can the name, so she doesn't know you've got a dog called Molly. But yeah,
she
so
does. She knows exactly who Molly is. I've shown pictures, and I've been like, and she's like, "Who's that?" And I've been, "It's Molly. Molly. I like Molly." She said she liked Molly, and she's pictures and videos of Molly.
Okay, well, shall we? So yeah, with that, and then we can't really do much with her because obviously you have to keep them inside, and she can't go around sniffing stuff. And then Isabel starts school in September, so we literally can't go away because you're probably not allowed to take them out of school and just go on holiday, which is a bit annoying. But so we're gonna have to wait till like October half term potentially is like the first time we get a holiday, so it just feels a bit like, ugh, it's been a long time.
That will be a long time. You could kind of tag team, like Laura can stay, you can go. And then vice versa.
Laura said to me, she was like, "Why don't you just take a week off work and just have like a staycation?" I was like, "Yeah, but I wouldn't do that. I would just be like, I would just come and sit at the computer and do work. Like, it doesn't."
Yeah, because you still
wouldn't work for me.
Stuff to do. Yeah.
Because COVID could have been that, and it's like, well, it wasn't because we actually doubled down on work and did more work, and like I've just basically ended up just doing loads of work. So I just feel a bit like, I hate using the word burnout because I don't think I'd ever know what that feels like, but you do get to a point where you just feel a little bit like, oh, like, I just need a break, but staying in my house all week ain't gonna help that because I'll just be like, well, I might as well do work. So I think when I speak to a lot of other online coaches, to be honest, it's more the relentless nature of social media and what we're told we need to do on that side of things. I think that that's what gets me going and drives me insane. It's having to think of stuff like that, and it gets you down when you post a bit of content that doesn't like resonate with people, or they don't get loads of likes and stuff, which is pathetic. And I know saying it out loud, it sounds pathetic, but you do. It does get you down. You think, well, what's the point? And then you try harder, and then actually by trying harder, you end up putting out more shit content because you're trying too hard now, and it actually should be more natural and stuff. And that's when I know I need to have a break from it. When I know that I put stuff out and I feel like I have to put something out, and then it goes really badly, like today. I know now I'm just like, right, don't even think about it. And just next thing you need to post needs to be something that's because it's passionate and because it comes from a place where you actually care and that sort of stuff rather than forced. And I find when I get tired or I've had long periods of time working, I feel that my creativity goes. And that's when I need holidays. That's when I realize I need holidays. I'm like, shit, I haven't got any fresh, like for an email, for example, like I haven't thought of a decent email idea for a good few weeks because I've just been like, seriously, like my brain hasn't got the capacity to do it. It's weird, you notice these things, and I think as PTs we're notoriously bad at taking time off, right? Awful at it. An online coach is probably more so because you feel bad for taking time off.
Yeah, you feel like you leave your like clients high and dry as well, right?
Yeah, because the whole thing about online is like you're like, oh yeah, I'm accessible, and flexible, I can do my work wherever I want. So then you kind of say I'm going on holiday, and your clients might be like, well, you're on holiday, like you should be working because you can do it anywhere. You got your laptop. It's just that whole thing of that like balance between the two. And I think with COVID, we've just not had that balance because like fucking every day you've done work because it's like, well, no day's different. And then now it's starting to feel a bit like actually now we have a bit more of a weekend potential or whatever, and it's kind of trying to get back into that place. It's tough, but it's what it is.
Tough, mate. That's right.
I don't know where that came from. I literally just rambled on there. That was.
I let you go. I was looking at my stuff on my phone. We could ramble on. So I need to just find.
Yeah, I wonder how people felt about last week's podcast. I didn't get any messages from people telling me I was a fucking idiot, so that's always a bonus.
No,
other than you. So but I get that all the time.
That said, it was it was just a good, not a good discussion, but a good rant.
Yeah, one of my clients said on my check-in, they said, "Oh, it's really good." Yeah, they said that they really liked it. That was good discussion, and they agree.
I just got from one of my clients and one of my good friends is I was going to message you, but I listened to last week's podcast, the obesity one, and I think Dan's 40 minutes of aggressive ranting, followed by his unashamed gunning down of all my frankly wonderful food pairing suggestions. Got me sidetracked. I was like, yeah, because I think about 4 or 5, 6 of those were Sarah. Yeah.
What? The shit ones?
Probably, yeah. I mean, yeah. Half Sarah, half Chloe. Just
one of them champagne and caviar. That was what I was like. Come on.
No, that wasn't Sarah. I'm pretty sure you know who that was. But yeah. It's interesting. But yeah, I think it was probably enlightening for a lot of people as well, and just being like, what's the coach's point of view? And if you're a coach, what's your point of view of the obesity thing? So I dug up a which kind of relays on. We're not going to like dive into Dan's, I don't know, persona on obesity anything, but there was the personal training development collective company, PTDC.
Yeah.
Thanks. I was looking for whether it was company or collective.
Collective, I think it is.
Yeah. Wow, we're the PTC and they're the PTDC. Wow.
I think that's what they're called.
There's a personal trainer development, but I don't know what the C means.
Well, maybe it's not collective then.
I don't know. We got more followers than them, so it's probably us. Right, they did an interesting.
It's definitely not the Pakistan Tourism Development Corporation.
Is it not? Yeah, I like typing the acronym for something and straight into there. Yeah, it's interesting, isn't it? You got to see what you find out. So they did a quick tip. Interesting page because they're an American company. You know, like a third of Americans are obese. Pretty much the same here, isn't it? About that.
Yeah.
Give or take. Definitely overweight anyway. Probably about 60% overweight at least. So there's 6 truths you should know before training obese clients. Because in obese, like, we'll talk about that interpersonals and stuff, like skills and stuff, and talking to clients or talking to people like this. I find it easier to talk to injuries. Talk to people with injuries and how to combat that. And like I think I'm able to pick somebody up from that kind of dark place based off an injury or a surgery or a rehab or a prehab thing to get them to being fitter. I find it quite hard to talk about or talk to overweight clients who need to lose a lot of weight. That's not my jam. I think there's too much of an emotional attachment to it. And the practicality things, or like generally speaking for rehab and stuff, it is like you do this equals this, and I know I'm solely responsible for them doing it pretty much correctly when they see me. Obviously they can go away and not do it like physio, blah 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 blah, but I feel like I can do it with the obese thing. We know it's all diet, and I've just speaking as a trainer, I find that bit slightly more difficult. It's probably why I haven't gone into online training as much. Well, I've obviously got people who have lost weight with me and go follow my advice, but I'm not as, let's say, brutal as you, Dan. I'm a little bit more bedside mannery, just in the nature of working with a lot more rehab clients. But yeah, there's some tips, truths, 6 tips for training obese clients, so one-to-one. So see if you agree or disagree, because I'm going to guess that you've trained more overweight clients than I have. As a general rule of thumb. So number 1, their size may keep them from some exercises. Has there been a case, which I believe is true, has there been a case of maybe you've had an overweight client that you can't program a certain exercise for because of their size or weight?
Yeah, there's certain movements you just wouldn't do as well. With that element of I suppose when the weight comes into it, but things get in the way, as bad as that sounds.
No, that's literally the example they use. So some moves, like the leg press, their tummy and stuff will get in the way.
Yeah, and I think as well, like the thing with obese people or overweight people that I've worked with, I put much less emphasis on the training because as well they often, because obviously I'm not there with them. I think a lot of people, if they're with a PT, would feel a little bit less self-conscious. But if I'm coaching someone who's slightly overweight, and they don't feel particularly confident in the gym, I'm like, don't worry about it. At this point, don't worry about it. Like, it's fine. Just focus on nutrition, lose 10, 20 kilos, then you can worry about going to the gym. Like, you don't really need, at that point, the whole benefit of resistance training stuff is like, yeah, that is a benefit, but actually your benefit is losing 20 kilos of fat mass first. Like, do that. Like, don't worry about anything. So yeah, I think from that point of view, I would never make them do anything that they weren't comfortable doing. So I know a lot of people, for example, who are still healthy weight and healthy kind of looking, and they would be self-conscious about doing hip thrusts in the gym, for example. So like someone, an obese person doing that would feel probably more self-conscious.
Yeah.
Anything that I suppose may make them feel, I hate saying it, but it sounds a bit harsh, but exposed in that regard. I think they might feel a bit self-conscious?
So this is straight on to point number 2, which probably really, I think that was about actual physicality being size being an issue, maybe a belly or something being in the way. Number 2 was some exercises create more of a jiggle than others, so more self-conscious. So mountain climbers, like star jumps, burpees, bicycle sprints, that kind of thing where you're just like shaking around. That's going to be way more self-conscious. And they probably don't need to do it as well, because probably moving, if you are obese, moving at just like a certain intensity is going to be enough, right? To raise heart rate, blah blah blah, to burn the calories that are intended for that session or whatever. But yeah, so your client may feel more comfortable not doing it. So that was number 2. Agree, 100%. Number 3, moderate intensity goes a long way.
Yeah,
I think we agree with that. I think. Yeah, there's been endless amounts.
I'd even say low intensity.
Like low intensity to low to moderate intensity. Like we know the whole, like we beat the drum around this like so long in terms of you don't need to do a HIIT class to get there. Like that's not the quickest. It's probably not the quickest route either, because of what's going to happen. If your goal was only to burn that many calories within an hour and see that drop off, then that's absolutely fine. And yeah, that's where you're going to burn the most calories for high intensity. But if your goal is to burn the most over 24 hours and be mindful about everything else, then that's going to be better long term and possibly even short term, because you're going to have more control and you're probably not going to feel as exhausted, and you probably will burn more calories in like the after effect as well. That epoch shit doesn't matter. So yeah, don't go all like Jillian Michaels on me, and yeah. You don't have to make them pass out or throw up. So I agree. Number 4. It's number 4. This is an interesting. So overweight. This happens with rehab as well, but I purposely plan this in for some rehab clients. So number 4, it's hard for them to get off the floor. It's an interesting one. So if you're actually clinically obese, or it's going to take you a little while, I'm guessing me and Dan could probably get off the floor quite quickly. So from a lying position or prone, blah, 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 press up position, all the way to standing, like a burpee. So maybe you do, when you're programming, your floor-based exercises all together. So like a little, so they just have to roll over. That's it. They don't have to get up, bam, bam, prop themselves on a knee, on a wall. Maybe you need that support, that kind of stuff. But there might be a time, especially I do it for rehab, as I let them organize their body and be like, right, you have to get up. I'm purposely making you do this because this is actually part of your exercise, because this is your moderate to low intensity exercise. You're just going from seating to standing, from the floor based thing to a standing based exercise, and I'm going to get your heart rate up slightly, but I'm not going to help you, and that's going to be like a knee thing, and I'm going to see what you do. It's interesting I think that's plausible. You agree, Dan, or not?
Yeah, 100%. Like it's a factor like that most people wouldn't think about.
Yeah, it's interesting how I might go from a standing to a half kneeling to a seated or to a lying, something like that, and it'll be a stage down, 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 and then they got the rest, like in quotations, afterwards, like their minute rest. They'll use that to get up and have a little drink. Where are we at? Number 5. Sad truth, they may have joint issues.
Mm-hmm. Yep, I think as well, like, I think with that, as a side note, that I think people would look to externally load them without realizing that they're carrying a lot of load. Yep. You know, like them doing a bodyweight squat with 140 kilos is the same as you doing a squat with 70 kilos on your back or whatever. More than that, less than that, 60 kilos on your back, whatever it is. But it's that whole thing of like when people lose weight and they say, oh my God, like I was like, imagine carrying around a 10 kilo dumbbell with you. It's like, yeah, shit, like it's not light. That's not, and that strain's going through your muscles, your joints, everything. So I think people would forget that as well, and the effect that has on joints. Yeah. It's like saying to someone, imagine trying to get up off the floor, like you said before, but put a 60 kilo vest on and now roll around on the floor and get up.
Now roll around on the floor, get up. You're like, fuck, yeah, that's going to be tough. You're going to take a while and you're going to be gassed from it. They've got more experience moving around that load, which probably means they're quite fucking strong. So yeah, maybe the exercise isn't as big as thing. So the CV system is probably fucked because they're not moving that often. Yeah, it's a weird one, isn't it? We talked about it before. Like people doing calf raises with obese clients. A lot of fucking load goes through those calves. All of that load, like they've got fucking pristine calves.
Yeah.
Most overweight and large people, like they are jacked. So you got to think as well. That's one of the things where we get really annoyed if we see like shitty little box jumps or like a lot of running because of the joint issues that probably subside with like being being overweight because there's much more pressure on the joints. If you think down to the force velocity curve, if anybody's seen that or they know what it is, there's a lot that goes on with it, and saying if you understand force, you probably know what understands with joints. And there's like every single time you maybe step through your ankle or put a little bit, there's up to just at like walking pace, it's like nearly 2 to 2.5 times your body weight going through that ankle. I was like, for me and Dan, I've got to be able to withstand nearly 160 kilos essentially. So me walking around with that back, my joints have got to be able to withstand this. Hence why strength is such an important factor in power. So some like, was it Pulisic like pulled up with a hamstring injury the other day and during the FA Cup. He probably the reason for that injury because he was just running. He elicited too much force driving down, wasn't able to. He doesn't have enough force or capacity to withstand that in his hamstring. That's be all and end all of what's probably happened because nobody was around him. There was no external stimulus, and that happens with these people as well because you could think up to a sprint for us could be between 5 and 8 times. 8 times in deceleration. If you rapidly decelerate, it could be 8 times your body weight going through your ankle. It's fucking a lot. So they're strong joints, and people don't realise that, but they need to be fucking strong. But yeah, as you're overweight, maybe making them doing ballistic high intensity exercise probably gonna put them under a little bit too much pressure than they're not ready for. So yeah, that was number 5. So I agree. Nice little post. The last one was they're used to being judged, so they don't need it from us as a trainer.
I think it's just constantly positive reinforcement as well, because I think there'll be a lot of negative self-talk with that as well related to it, that they'll be like, I'm a failure, I can't do this, I can't do that. So again, giving them something to do that is too difficult for them that they fail on is probably going to make them feel bad. Like if you're trying to get into a 1RM squat and they fail it, that's not going to make them feel great, and they're probably used to feeling that way about themselves. It's like making the goals a little bit smaller so that they feel like they're achieving stuff, and that has a carry-on effect to everything else in their life. You know, like again, setting an arbitrary step goal rather than saying hit 20,000 steps a day, and you know they only do 5. Go do 7. Like they'll hit that and achieve it more often. But you know it's a stepping stone to getting them to a place further down the line. I think that's but there's a huge thing in most people like that. I mean, to health and fitness is that people are so harsh on themselves when they want to improve that they need someone who's going to say, no, you're doing fine, like you're doing well, like that. Immediately kind of bigs them up. And that's a lot of the time what personal trainers, the good personal trainers do. Like the whole cliche of a personal trainer going, come on, give me 5 more, you're rubbish. And it's like, it's ridiculous. Like that doesn't help anyone. And they're the shit PTs, the ones that do that. Like, oh, you're shit. Until you do that, you're shit. You can't do it. It doesn't make it like, you know, the drill sergeant approach. Not in the fucking army, mate. Like, what are you doing? So yeah, it's that kind of in general. I think. Like, don't get me wrong. Like, sometimes you will need to like kick someone up the arse, but 95% of the time, and especially with that population, it would be positive.
But yeah, that's also something that I just filmed a thing on was talking about aggressive language or assertive language, and being able to use that instead of. You don't want to be aggressive to your client or person in the workplace. It's like so you're acting as if it's your job and you're responsible for it, not aggressive towards it being personal. There's a fine line, but being aggressive and being assertive is an incredibly different thing, and they'll have more respect for you for being assertive over this is what you're doing, not being like a little twat about it and creating something personal. So yeah, I thought it was an interesting post, especially after relating into the obesity talk before. And what relates into the obesity talk even more, Dan, was I had obviously a hectic day. That's why we're recording a day late because I couldn't stand the sound of my own
It's
voice.
always because of you. It's never
It
because
is
of me.
always because of me. Mate, you're an online PT. You got the flexibility. You're on the beach. You're living life.
Don't need a holiday.
So it's fun.
I don't need a holiday, so it's fine.
I've still got times and dates in my diary. So I got to be somewhere. Bam, bam, bam. I've never moved so much during COVID times. I'm around everywhere. But yeah, we were filming a lot in the PTC stuff, so there's a lot of videos that will be not coming out. Coming out if you want to purchase them, not for free. If you want to sign up for courses, absolutely fine. But yeah, we were filming a day late, but also I got back in time to watch How to Lose Weight Well yesterday.
Oh, those fucking shows are shit.
There was a person that I think follows us or may have listened to the show a few times. I can't remember her name, but she's a redheaded dietitian. Actually, was speaking some sense on there. And there was another dietitian as well, and they were talking. I will go through a couple of the diets just to get you wound up. But there were
cheers, mate.
They actually kind of went in on Instagrammers and social media twats on tea, the whole skinny teas and booty and all that kind of crap. They were like basically had two dietitians and blah blah blah, and we're just talking how shits they were and how awful they were. And how all the claims were wrong. So that was nice. They were doing that. So it was good. And then one of the lads went on one of them, but apparently one of the side effects was to give you immense diarrhea because there was so much fibre in it.
I wonder how you lose weight on that one.
And the dietitian was like, in my professional opinion, so they sell it in America, but they don't sell it here. So, and she was like, professional opinion, don't take it because the side effects are too risky for that. And he was like, I'm gonna try it. And then he was like, I had to stop after a couple of days because this was awful. So I wonder how you lose weight. So all this kind of shit. I love the they were like, because she was like, oh yeah, does it raise your metabolism? Obviously not. Does it do this? Obviously not. And she was like, a detox. She was like, I was like, you can't say that it doesn't do that because that's not a real thing. So I mean, it could be just a claim. They've detox. I thought that was quite clever marketing, but obviously horseshit. So normally what's on How to Lose Well, a little bit like factoids and blah blah blah, all this kind of stuff. And then they have this Geordie girl that cooks some meals and all this kind of stuff. And then there's a dietitian and a doctor of some sort. Hoping food. Doctor of food, is that a thing?
Doctor of food, yeah. Well, if you've got a PhD, they might have a PhD in something.
Yeah, you can be a PhD at dreams. You can be a doctor at dreams. Did you know that?
Of course you
can. We were, I think, side note. We were, was it way back when we were in Boston? We were researching with Josh Carr and Henry and that, seeing if we could get buy a PhD, and you can buy a PhD for about it's not like £300, and you can be a doctor of dreams. Yeah,
that's worth it, I reckon.
I think
do that.
Just to put I'm doctor, fake doctor, but I'm doctor of dreams. Yeah, can't take it away from me. Got a certificate of dreams. Boom. Hey, good money for that. But what was I talking about? Oh, there's three kind of pairs of people that are doing separate diets. So there's the people who are gonna rapidly change within a week. Lose as much as they can in a week based off two diets that these two dietitians pick for them. And then there's two people that do it in 12 weeks, and then there's two people that do it in 6 months. But they all have different diets. But I can't remember all of them. I think, and there was two ex-footballers, one that played for Ipswich and one that was doing it, but they both got a bit tubby because they're both, one's a labourer now and one works in office. Obviously, they're eating the same foods that they would probably were when they were playing football.
Yeah, still eating football of portions, all the pasta,
smashing it. It was quite interesting how they just got overweight, and it was you don't know what's happening because you're not running around as much as you used to. You?
I know what's happening.
They were actually okay. They were on one was on a Mediterranean diet, and one was on a Mediterranean diet, and then the other one was on a South American diet, which was just ceviche and stuff like that. I was like, that's great. I was like, I'd crack on with that. Absolutely fine.
Fancy about that.
Yeah, I do that anyway. It's not a diet. It's just nice food. But yeah, some of the ones. So through the 6 month one, there was like a summer salad diet, which is cool. That was nice, but a little bit long for like, was it 3 to 6 months doing salads all the time. There was the one girl had the sandwich diet, which is interesting.
I could do that one.
Absolutely plausible, because you just have like a low calorie, like you're allowed 8 slices of bread a day, and then you could have certain things on them, blah 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 blah, obviously. But the 8 slices were obviously the special bread, which is like low calorie bread, blah blah blah. What's the lowest calorie bread that you know, like per slice?
Danish, I think.
It's usually that Danish stuff, isn't it? Yeah, it's the Danish stuff. It's about 56 to 60 calories per slice.
Yeah,
I think.
Something like that.
If you did 8 of those, it's about 450 calories, right? So you should be able to lose weight pretty easily, based off your toppings or whatever. But they're all like open sandwiches essentially. You can probably have 4 closed ones or 8 open sandwiches. It's all right.
Yeah.
Bit boring after a while because you probably want something else. But I thought the funniest one was one of the crash diets. Which I think are always hilarious. I can't remember what one of them was. I think one of them was okay and it was fine, and it was just basically 1,000 calories a day, but a certain type of food or something, basically salad. The other one was 4 days you were fine, and then 3 days it was called the sexy pineapple diet.
Oh, fuck off! What's that?
It literally for 3 days of the whole week. All you can eat is pineapple.
Oh, fuck off.
That's all you can eat all day. I was like, and then like obviously they have that chef there that like cooks them a little like to do with the meal, like shows them what they could do and how they make it, and like the ceviche was good. Somebody else made like a nice like tuna sashimi kind of thing, and then someone like did something else, and then she was like, I'm gonna make a pineapple smoothie, and then I'll make and she was like, I'm gonna char some pineapple and then some pineapple slices. It's just like, oh, fuck. Could you imagine that? Like, have you ever done like too much pineapple or too much mango or too much like citrusy kind of based fruit?
Yeah,
it's not good. Like, it's not a good thing. So it was something like you were allowed to eat like 2 pineapples throughout the day, something like that. That was it. Rans would not.
No, that's not going to sit well, is it?
She lost like 9 pounds, something like 9 pounds. But yeah, it's probably because she was like, I can't stomach eating 2 pineapples. I'll just eat one. And just eat the rest of the day.
It's like I can see why people lose weight on keto, because you just get sick of the fatty food. Like you just get sick of it after a while. Just no, couldn't do it.
Couldn't do it, right? That's the fatty diets is fine, but it's just. I mean, I would say, FYI, if you didn't know, calorie deficit is the reason why they're losing weight, but it's perfectly plausible way to do it. Just eat pineapples. What fruit? There you go. So, what food? If you were going to do a food that is relatively low calorie, would you be only eat the 3 days a week?
Fruit or any food?
Let's go fruit, because obviously that was the basis of the pineapple one. What fruits could you do?
It's not really low calorie, but I go grapes probably.
Grapes. You quite, they're like, go for a while.
But also, like you said, you can't have citrus fruits because it just wouldn't sit well at all. Raspberries I could, but I think again that would be a similar thing. So much fiber would just get you. Strawberries, maybe strawberries, but I feel like grapes would be.
Grapes is a good middle ground, I think, because they're not too sweet. They've got a bit of flesh to them. You can split them, but then you can't. You're not making any. I mean, grape juice is incredible. So
wine.
It's called wine. So yeah, but I was going to say like a raw. You don't get actual grape juice though. So you can only have it really one way. That's the only thing. You can't. I'm not making smoothie out of grapes.
No. Yeah.
Could you cook a grape? Could you grill a grape? Would that taste good?
Not that you want to though.
Because obviously, like pineapple cooked is okay, right? On pizza, blah blah blah. You can have little tiny pineapple slices.
Yeah.
Grape's not good. We wouldn't char a strawberry either, but strawberry, like smoothie, decent. I think I'll go strawberry. Yeah, raspberry. I think the fiber thing. I like blackberries, blueberries, and raspberries. The ones I buy quite a lot. But if it's only for 3 days during a week, then yeah, just as a crash. I think I'll get there. What did you go for food then? Particularly low calorie food. You're only allowed one thing.
I don't know really. Has to be low calorie or fairly low calorie.
It would just be 1,000. I think the rule was like near enough 1,000 calories worth.
I don't know. Probably yogurt.
Yogurt? Would your shits turn a bit runny?
Probably.
I'm not sure, like, processing that amount of yogurt.
Well, yeah, or bread maybe, actually, yeah. Loaf of Danish, like, you know, that'd be all right.
I think I could do bread, yeah.
Yeah.
Just luckily
we'll never have to do it, so it's fine.
Yeah. Bread, but I'd be so concerned of it getting quite dry. But
it's true.
Oh, maybe. We'll never have to do it, but it's an interesting chat, mate. All right, last thing we're going to talk about was just a little post when we were talking about courses and like personal development on the back end of that post about not being a twat to your clients. So I posed a little question to Brett Bartholomew. He's got a decent book. I can't remember what it is, but he's a lot about like mindset and coaching. Like coaching mindset and being able to get your clients to do things. I can't remember his book. Somebody's reading it right now and was like, yeah, read this. But he's a good lad. I think it's done quite well in the industry in terms of that book and his persona. But I posed the question to Dan. So this was a 285 continuing professional development courses for personal trainers and coaches. So he did a little review. And they were split up into 3 categories of technical skill based, interpersonal, so like as a team, working as a team, that kind of thing, getting people to do stuff as leadership, and then intrapersonal, which is about working on yourself, like I guess time management, how you communicate and how you get your points across. And what those were split up to, bearing in mind that's a lot of what we do, and like we'll see it split up into personal and trainer, so 50-50 really, and the percentage across 285 courses. So you didn't actually make a guess, did you? But I told you the answer was it was 92% of those courses. Obviously that's quite a lot of courses to have a little snapshot of, were technical based. So learning how to move, learning how to squat, learning how to like coach, that kind of stuff, like where your knee joins into your hip and what's going on there, what muscles are combining to make this movement, EMG, graph, activity, all that kind of crap. 92% is going into the trainer part of personal trainer. 6% into interpersonal skills. So I don't know, leadership, communicating as a team, getting people to do stuff around you, and then 2% being intrapersonal. So that is you being able to time manage, developing yourself, that kind of stuff. It's only 8% kind of as a communicator in terms of courses, and 92% on technical ability. I mean, sum that out for me, Dan, whilst I turn my light on.
It sums up the whole industry as a whole. Like it literally sums up everything. Like me and Mike have talked about it before a lot. Me and you have talked about it a lot before. And it's the same old thing where there's a lot of trainers and they kind of sit there and they don't get results with their clients, or their clients leave, or their clients aren't happy, and they go, oh, I don't know enough. I need to learn more about nutrition or training. No, you don't. You know more than that person who's stood in front of you. That's all you need to know. You literally just need to know more than the people you're working with. Then coaching is about relationship building. It's about communicating, as we've talked about again with those obese clients. Talked about communicating with them, how to talk.
Every single one of those
posts think about
being I don't know, communicating with them, about just changing certain things with their lifestyle, all that kind of stuff. How they feel about an exercise more than actually being able to do the exercise.
it's empathy as well. Like I'll never have been in that position, so I will never know what that feels like. But I can empathize and I can imagine, right, what must their thoughts be on a daily basis? What are they thinking? And like I said, like they probably don't like looking at themselves. They don't want other people to see them and all this sort of jazz. And I just think that there's a massive gap in this industry between what PTs and trainers and coaches, whatever, think they need to do to get better and what they actually need to do. And what they actually need to do is be mentored by people who have been there and done it, who have the experience and have made those mistakes and coach people and experienced the hours that you need to be good. What they don't need is to do another course that teaches them about how to like breathe properly during a squat, like you said, or how to perfect the squat movement, or how to do Olympic lifting. How many of your clients ever need to do Olympic lifting? Like,
I've sat through a lot of those, and obviously I get kind of paid to go do some of these courses and the technical aspect, and I teach them as well because they obviously have a place because people need to get to that, and if you have a certain niche then you really want to go into, that's easily done. But I've been to FRC, FMS, Exos, the PRI, and maybe another one. What's the Pails and Railsy one? That kind of crap. Kinstretch and bullshit. FRC. And they're all kind of talking about the same fucking thing. Just various different things. I could have saved myself a lot of time and been like, just picked one and then kind of researched on the others and then made a definitive idea of like, oh, that works for me and my clients. I can get my head around that, but I'm not going to like squash everybody else's views of those and let that do it. But then go learn how to get my clients to do it and get them to their results.
It's just crazy. Like, it doesn't shock me though. When you told me that, it didn't shock me in the slightest. Like, it was obvious. It's so obvious. And maybe as well, it's also because you could argue there's not that many courses around the interpersonal thing, but it's also because when you're in health and fitness, you're just so absorbed by it. You don't actually look outside of it. And actually there's lots of courses about this sort of stuff. There's lots of things on, NLP and like all that sort of stuff, psychology elements to things that if you were to go look for it and research it, you'd find it. It is out there. And I think it's that sort of thing that people aren't aware of, but it's not even that. It's straight away. It's that, again, like we talked about the industry. People would want to go to a mentor or a guru to go, oh yeah, I'll make you £10,000 a month, 6-figure coach, online coach, whatever. They're not teaching you about that sort of stuff. They're teaching you funnels. They're teaching you how to make more money, how to charge more, and all that sort of jazz. They're not actually making you a better coach. And that's the fundamental problem, is that people aren't good enough coaches. So yeah, you might sign someone up on a stupidly high package and do a good sales call because you've got a sales script. But if you don't get them results, they ain't coming back. You can only sell shit once. They ain't coming back. So then you've got to do it again. Whereas actually, what's better off is if you get that person results, they stick around, they tell a few of their mates, they then sign up, and then you don't have to worry about anything because you're getting good results. People, like, you're just good at what you do. Then you can command more money because you're fucking good at what you do. That's how it works. And it's I just find that side of the industry is painful. And with COVID happening, it's accelerated the online training world and the industry. So basically more and more people now are going to dip their foot in and try online coaching. And if someone tries it and they get screwed over by someone who can't give them results, guess what? In a year's time, there's going to be a lot of people out there who will have tried online coaching, who want to try it again potentially, who are looking for someone who gets people results because they didn't get results last time. So if you can show you get results, people, and you've got clients and that you are a decent human being and your clients stick around because they like you, I can promise you, you're going to be all right. I think there's that aspect to it as well. Like, I think it's trying to show people as well. Like, I always try and do it. I don't know how well I do it. Maybe not very well at all. People are going to go, you're shit. I show the result that people get, which is their physique and the transformations, which is important. But the other side of it is that a lot of my clients, I get on with them. Like, I have a laugh with them, much like I did when I was a PT. Like, you're a personal trainer. You need to care about their life. You need to give a shit about them. Know what their kids' names are, whether they're at school or not, what sports they like to play. Like, you need to give a shit about people that much that they see that you care about them and you get to know them as people, and that gets you better results. Like, I could tell you everything about my clients, everything that you need to know about their family life, home life, schedule, where they work, probably things like that, because you need to know it, and then you become close to those people and you form better relationships with them. And that's what comes across on Instagram, is my clients know me. they speak to me. They know about my life, you know. But yeah, it just baffles me that that's literally you like you said there in the stats. What was it 92% of people do that?
Yeah.
Just to be different to 92% of the industry, you just have to do that 8% bit better than
yeah.
them. That's all you have to do. Like, that's what I mean. People say it's saturated. It's not saturated. The market is not saturated. It's full of shit people. Like, and this isn't us saying don't do technical courses. That's what we've not said that. Still do them. But you want to have a blend of 33% of all of them. Not all just technical. But that's what we're saying. All those coaches out there, that's that sample size, 230, 50, whatever it was. That would be, if you extrapolated that, that would be exactly it. 91% would do primarily technical stuff, 100%.
Would go.
So the best 10% of coaches in this industry will be in that 10% of people that do those courses. Guarantee it.
Yeah.
Guarantee it.
Easy. Go find your next NLP, neuro-linguistic programming course. They're fun.
Just be a better coach. Like, literally be a better coach. And that doesn't mean be a smarter coach or be a more intelligent coach. It literally means give a shit about people more. That's all. That's what that graph's basically saying.
Yeah.
Get better at communicating with someone.
8% of trainers give a shit.
But that is it.
Yeah.
I've never needed to coach an Olympic squat online coaching. Olympic lift, sorry. Never. Don't need
Olympic
to.
squat.
No one. Yeah,
because you're on that course. That's probably why.
Because it's just like, that's what I mean. It's like, come on, like. Anyway, I said I wasn't going to rant, and I've ranted. So.
We just brought up an interesting topic. So we had nothing when we walked in the building. I got 3 fun things to talk about. Yeah. Any other business, Daniel?
No, not for me.
No. Interesting. No, not from me. I've got a hectic week. Yeah, lots of filming. Who knew you can lose your voice from lecturing so much?
Yeah, that happens.
Crazy, right? All right, mate. Thanks for listening, and we will catch you next week.
See you later.